In 1994, the eyes of the world were glued to Los Angeles as a celebrity murder trial unfolded, capturing the attention of millions and leaving an indelible mark on American culture. The case was People versus Orenthal James Simpson, otherwise known as the trial of the century or the trial of the O.J. Simpson was a star NFL running back who at the time of his arrest was arguably the most famous sports figure in the world. His violent behavior off the field had long been a source of gossip, but he was universally loved for his on-field exploits and larger-than-life personality. He was also black, which made him a positive role model for many young African Americans. But by October 1993, everything changed. On that day, Nicole Brown Simpson, ex-wife of O.J., and her friend were found brutally murdered in front of her home in Brentwood, California. Police quickly suspected Simpson and after a low-speed chase on a freeway ultimately arrested him 2 months later. Soon, the trial began. The first thing that struck people about the case was how much media coverage it was getting. From the very beginning, every major newspaper and magazine in the country ran daily updates on the trial, and the TV networks couldn't get enough of it. They created round-the-clock news channels just to cover the trial and hired analysts to speculate on what was going on in the courtroom. The media circus surrounding the trial quickly became a national obsession, and there were few people in the country who weren't following the case closely. In fact, it's estimated that over 100 million Americans tuned in to watch the verdict. But while the media was quick to pick up on the salacious details of the case, they were slower to recognize the deeper racial tensions that were simmering beneath the surface. For many Black Americans, the case was obviously a tragedy, but it was also an opportunity to see one of their own in the spotlight. For decades, Black people had been stereotyped in the media as being criminals, and it was refreshing to see someone who looked like them being celebrated for their accomplishments rather than vilified for their mistakes. This was especially true for young Black men who saw Simpson as a role model and an inspiration. To them, he was a shining example of what could be accomplished with hard work and determination. In a world where they were often told they were doomed to fail, Simpson proved that they could succeed if they just put their minds to it. However, as the trial dragged on and the evidence against Simpson mounted, many Black Americans began to have second thoughts about their hero. After all, the evidence against him was overwhelming and it seemed like he had a lot to hide. As the trial continued, the media's obsession with the case only grew. And before long, it seemed like nothing else mattered. There were bumper stickers, t-shirts, and even songs about the trial, and people were making money hand over fist by selling their predictions about what would happen next. It seemed like everyone had an opinion about the case, and no one could stop talking about it. But amid all the excitement, there was a darker story unfolding. As the trial progressed, it became clear that Simpson was guilty. The evidence against him was overwhelming, and his lawyers were struggling to make a coherent defense. As the prosecution presented its case, more and more people began to believe that Simpson was guilty. And as the defense tried to poke holes in the prosecution's case, they only succeeded in making themselves look incompetent. By the time the trial was over, there was little doubt in anyone's mind that Simpson was guilty. The jury acquitted him by a vote of 9-3, and he was free to go. While many people were relieved that the trial was over, others were furious. They felt that justice had not been served and that Simpson had gotten away with murder. In the years since then, the case has only grown more infamous. The O.J. Simpson trial is still widely seen as one of the most important trials in American history. It was a case that captured the attention of the entire country and forced Americans to confront some of their deepest fears and prejudices. It was also a case that showed the power of the media and the importance of understanding the role that race plays in American society. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe so that you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you for watching.